Hi, I'm Lily, and I'm 26 years old. I work as a financial analyst and live with my parents and my younger sister, Danielle, who's 23. Living at home isn't easy. My parents don't say it, but they expect me to pay for everything: the mortgage, bills, and groceries. I didn't mind at first because my dad lost his job last year, and my mom only works part-time. I wanted to help. But Danielle is different. She barely works, spends all day on social media, shops a lot, and goes out with her friends. One Friday during lunch, I checked my banking app and saw some strange charges. Someone had spent $1,200 on a flight to Hawaii, booked a fancy hotel, and spent hundreds at restaurants and spas, all on my credit card. My heart dropped. I'd been saving every penny to start my own business. I'd never book a trip like that. Someone had used my money to go on a luxury vacation. At first, I thought it might be my boyfriend, Jake. He had access to my card for emergencies. But then I realized it had to be Danielle. She was always taking things without asking. But this was different. This was theft. I texted her right away. Me, Danielle. Did you use my credit card for a trip to Hawaii? Danielle, relax. Lily, it's no big deal. I went with Jake. We needed a little getaway. I felt sick. My sister hadn't just stolen from me, she had taken my boyfriend too. That night, I told my parents what happened. I thought they'd be furious, but instead, they just shrugged it off. Mom, Danielle's young. She's just enjoying life. Don't be so hard on her. Dad, maybe you shouldn't have let Jake use your card. You're responsible for your own money. I was shocked. They weren't upset with Danielle at all. Once again, I could only imagine the look on Danielle's face when she realized she couldn't use my credit card anymore on her fancy beach trip. I wasn't done yet, though. I stopped paying for everything at home: the mortgage, electricity, groceries, all of it. If my parents were going to support Danielle, they could figure out how to pay the bills themselves. Right after I made the last call, my phone buzzed. It was Danielle. I didn't answer. Then Jake called. I ignored him too. They could deal with the mess on their own. By the afternoon, things were already falling apart. Lily, my mom yelled from the living room. The power just went out. What happened? I walked downstairs calmly. I stopped paying the bills. I said, since you're okay with Danielle stealing from me, I figured you don't need my help anymore. My dad stood up, his face red. What do you mean you stopped paying? How are we going to keep the lights on? The mortgage is due next week. I crossed my arms. Figure it out. You chose to stand by Danielle. Maybe she can help now. Just then, Danielle came through the door, dragging her suitcase. Her skin was tanned and her hair still looked like she'd just come from the beach. She dropped her bag and stormed toward me. What the hell, Lily? You canceled the card while I was still on vacation. I had to borrow money from strangers to get home. I smiled a little. Good, now you know what it feels like to be left with nothing. Danielle's face turned angry. You're being so dramatic. Jake and I just wanted to have some fun. With my money? And my boyfriend? I said, raising an eyebrow. Before she could answer, my phone buzzed again. It was Jake. I held it up and showed her. Look, your vacation buddy is calling. Should I pick up? Danielle grabbed the phone and threw it onto the couch. Just stop, okay? You got what you wanted. Now fix this mess with mom and dad. I laughed. No, Danielle, you fix it. You can start by telling them why they might lose the house soon, because they depended on me, and I'm done. My mom looked stressed. Lily, please, we can't afford all of this on our own. Don't do this. You should have thought about that before defending Danielle, I said. I paid for everything while you treated me like an ATM. I'm finished. I started packing my bags. I needed space, away from this toxic family. While I was zipping up my suitcase, there was a knock on my bedroom door. My dad came in. He looked tired and sad. Lily, he said softly, I'm sorry, we took you for granted. I stopped packing, but I wasn't ready to forgive him. You didn't just take me for granted, Dad. You all betrayed me. Danielle stole from me, Jake cheated on me, and you let it happen. He sighed. I know, but we're going to lose the house without you. That's not my problem anymore, I said. I've put my dreams on hold long enough. I zipped up my bag and looked him in the eye. I'm leaving. You, Mom, and Danielle can figure it out now. As I walked downstairs with my suitcase, Danielle was sitting on the couch, arms crossed. She gave me a dirty look. Where do you think you're going? She snapped. To live my life, without you all dragging me down, I replied. Before I left, I turned around one last time. Oh, by the way, Jake called me earlier. Looks like your little vacation romance didn't mean much to him after all. Good luck with that. Then I walked out the door. I didn't look back. I drove for hours, not sure where I was going. I just needed to get far away from the drama. Eventually, I stopped at a small motel in a quiet town. It wasn't fancy, but it was peaceful. It gave me time to breathe, think, and figure out what to do next. Sitting on the bed, I stared at my phone. Jake had sent a flood of messages, all trying to defend himself. Lily, I know what Danielle did was wrong. I wasn't part of her plan. Can we please talk? I miss you. Don't shut me out. I rolled my eyes and blocked his number. There was nothing left to say. He made his choice. Now he could live with it. The next morning, I woke up with something I hadn't felt in a long time: purpose. For years, I'd dreamed of starting my own consulting business. And now, finally, I had the freedom and the money to do it. The savings I'd protected from Danielle and Jake were still mine, and I was ready to invest in myself. I drove to the nearest city, found a modest apartment, and signed the lease on the spot. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. No more being someone's safety net. No more being the family ATM. No more being betrayed. Just me, finally living for me. I grabbed a notebook and started writing a list. Rent an office. Register my business. Build a website. Start reaching out to potential clients. Even that small list made me feel unstoppable. I had spent years managing everyone else's chaos. Now, I was finally managing my own future. A week later, I had just settled into my new space when someone knocked on the door. I wasn't expecting visitors. I opened it, and there stood Danielle. She looked nothing like the beach-bronzed girl who had stormed into the house weeks ago. This Danielle was tired, nervous, almost human. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice sharp. She glanced down, avoiding my eyes. "I know I'm the last person you want to see, but I need to talk. Make it quick." Danielle stepped inside. She looked like she was carrying the weight of the world. "Mom and Dad are in trouble. The bank's threatening to foreclose. They haven't been able to pay anything since you left. We don't know what to do." For a moment, I felt a flicker of guilt. But I buried it. "That's not my problem anymore. You all made it clear you didn't need me." She swallowed hard. "I know, I messed up. I believed Jake cared about me, but he ghosted me the second we got home. I ruined everything." My face didn't change. I remembered the sick feeling of watching my savings disappear, of learning about the betrayal. I wasn't about to forget that pain for a few tears. You don't just get to say sorry and expect things to go back to normal. You made your choices, now live with them. Danielle's voice cracked. "Please, Lily, if we lose the house." I sighed, leaning against the counter. "Fine, I'll help, on one condition." Her eyes lit up. "Anything." "I'm not giving you a cent directly. I'll cover a few of the missed payments, but only if you, Mom, and Dad sign a contract to repay me with interest. If you default, I take ownership of the house, no arguments." She froze. "With interest?" "Yes," I said coldly. "This is a business deal now, not a favor. Welcome to the real world." She hesitated, but in the end, she nodded. "Okay, we'll sign it." A week later, the contract was signed and notarized. I wired the money. The foreclosure was paused. My parents and Danielle were relieved, but I wasn't doing this to save them. I was doing it because I knew exactly how this would play out. 3 months later, it happened. They defaulted. As per the contract, the house became legally mine. When I arrived to take possession, Danielle stood on the porch, pleading. "Please, Lily, don't make us leave." But I didn't feel guilty, not anymore. They had treated me like a bank. Now, I was collecting my dues. I sold the house within a month. The profits gave me the financial boost I needed to expand my business. Within a year, I had clients across the country, a small but mighty team, and a life I was finally proud of. Danielle and my parents? They moved into a small apartment. We haven't spoken since. And that's perfectly fine with me. I don't owe them anything. Not anymore. I had finally taken back my power. And I wasn't giving it up for anyone. Sometimes, standing up for yourself is the hardest thing to do, but it's also the most powerful. To anyone out there dealing with a difficult family situation, remember this: you deserve to be treated with respect. Never let anyone make you feel less than you are. If you liked this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'd love to hear your thoughts or any similar experiences. Share them below. Until next time, take care and stay strong.